In today's episode, I tell you the secret behind how I was able to improve my productivity by more than 50% and to also do it for only $5. Welcome back to the Multi-Passionate Mompreneur podcast, where we choose to focus our energy, embrace our strengths, and move toward the compelled businesswomen we were meant to be. It's time to free ourselves from the chaos and the constant stream of ideas and build a life of impact and joy that honors our hard stuff, that makes meaning of our losses, and that helps us to make an impact in the world. It's time to finally take our power back and gain the follow-through that we've been desperately needing, while also learning to leave the swirl behind. I'm Angel McElhaney, motherless daughter, self-discovery junkie, and not so master juggler of my crazy crew. And I believe you can have it all. So put down that to-do list, grab that coffee, and let's get to work, one day at a time, together. Hey guys, for today's episode, I wanted to share with you my framework for focus. I feel like whenever I have so many ideas that it's really hard for me to not pivot. And I was talking with my husband the other day, and he was talking about there was a kid that was playing with on my son's team in basketball a while back, like a couple years ago. And he was talking about how there was this one kid that he must have just learned pivoting because he would pivot into a circle, like going nowhere and never passing the ball, and it was just this constant pivot. So the idea that he was trying to tell me is that if you keep pivoting, you don't get anywhere, you just go in a circle. And so I definitely think that this podcast is going to be about embracing our multi-passionate strengths and not seeing it as such a negative that we can't quote unquote niche down or anything. I feel like it's more about knowing ourselves and tuning into why we're doing things and why we feel this need to monetize everything. And then also looking into what motivates us, what depletes us, and really prioritizing that. And so it's giving power and not limiting us to what we can do. Because when I think of that, it really does feel like boredom, and it doesn't feel right. And so I do think that there is something to be said for being a multi-passionate, or, there's even other words for those now, multi-potentialite, scanner, squirrel, all of these things and I feel like there's a lot of negativity associated with it. So I'm hoping that through this podcast, you can start to accept all of the good things that comes with being the ideas people, that come with being the people with limitless mindset. And yes, limitless. So I believe that you, as a multi-passionate, tend to think that you can do it all, and until you prove yourself really wrong, right? And I think that that's a gift. So instead of looking at it as if we are just that kid pivoting in a circle, I would like us to kind of get a couple tools so that we can focus it in. And so I believe that with support and with community and with all of the tools that you need in order to kind of zone in on it, that you can use all of those ideas to figure out which one of them are just your hobbies and passions that help you to refuel and to kind of get you into this flow state to where you can just be creative, and then which ones you need to monetize and ultimately get out into the world. And so I've actually developed a framework, and each section of I think is super critical. The first one is discover. And so this is where you're going to know yourself. You're going to figure out what depletes you, what motivates you, and then we're going to prioritize it. If you end up wanting to do a more in-depth version of this, I have been doing self-discovery calls. You can find me over on social media, or you can shoot me an email at info@angelmclhaney.com. Also, you can come and check out our group at the Multi-Passionate Mompreneur. Sorry, there's no the there. Multi-Passionate Mompreneur Collective. And that's on Facebook, and I'll put that in the show notes. But that first module is really about just knowing yourself. So what is your Enneagram? Like, what is your personality? What are your core desires? What are your fears? What is that message that you really are longing to hear? And it really is knowing your hardwiring. For instance, if you are someone who really needs to be around people, or have that, or maybe not be around people, then maybe you are scheduling or having your day just to where it's not serving you. Do you know what I mean? So maybe there is a piece of that to where you realign when you're doing your work. Or maybe you find that you have a tendency to be kind of a rebel. And so you are making yourself have these, accountability type of of checklists that are not serving you in that control personality. And so it's just tuning into that. And so I've been really liked kind of making sure that we prioritize the values and beliefs that you hold dear, that are sacred to you, and that you make those important whenever you are kind of figuring out what you want to do, which one of the passions you want to run with, right? The second module is create. And I know that this is the doing, this is the action, this is the momentum. And so you're getting out of the stream of ideas and you're just like getting it out. And so I think that this is especially really fun to do in a group. So I am developing some create dates. Create dates are going to happen in our Facebook community. And what those are going to be, it's going to be a place to be or do. Okay, so what you can do is it's not, so I am a rebel when it comes to Gretchen Rubin's tendency quiz. And so I like control. So if you said, hey, Angel, you got to go on this create date and you got to do XYZ, then I would resist that just because that is the way my personality is. So what I like about these is that you can pick whatever you want to do, but it does pick, like, it makes that time stamp to where you know that you're going to move the needle during this time. And so you could even pick that it is something specific for your business. Maybe you're going to work towards your podcast. Maybe you're going to plan out how you're going to make a freebie or something like that for your business. Or you could honestly just paint. Like, I really am saying you can do whatever you want. You can journal. I feel like there's so much that pours into our business that's behind the scenes that is by pouring into ourselves. And so I think that this is super refueling, and that is the purpose of it. That's what I'm hoping everyone gets out of it. And so I'm really excited about that. So head over to Multi-Passionate Mompreneur if you'd like for information on the next create date. All right, and then that third one is focus. And this is the one that I know we are all struggling with because it's hard, guys. We have so many ideas, and what we need to do is just set some boundaries. And I really feel like this goes to the core of what it is. And I find this even now because I will want to reach out and help people because I've learned that as an Enneagram 8, wing 7, I go to a 2, which is a helper when I'm healthy and secure. So it's actually a positive thing for me to reach out and help someone. But is it also going to take away from my things that I quote unquote need to do if I reach out too much and help? So that's where you can I like to sandwich it, so where if I get this done, then I can do that or whatever. So you just need to decide what that looks like for you, because what happens is then we get really frustrated with ourselves because we're not changing our expectations either. So that's something to be really mindful of. I have actually found that setting workflows has helped me immensely. And then also making sure that you celebrate. And so I feel like we do. And we don't even let ourselves as entrepreneurs have a win or celebrate. It's like we're not at, corporate America where people come back around and pat ourselves on the back, right? So it's up to us to kind of do this part. And so there really is this idea of refueling and realigning our values and our goals and what we actually want our business to be. And then there's this piece, I think, of rejoicing. And so you have to celebrate all the wins. And that's hard when you have so many things on your list, right? So you have so many ideas, and so that means there's so many sections. Like I used to joke around because I want to make my own planner, which I definitely still someday need to do that. But it would have so much stuff on it. It would have here's everything, like my eating, health goals. Here are my, goals for my house, like where I'd want to simplify or clean. Here's all of the things I want to do with my kids, and here's all this. And the thing is what I have found to be most helpful is if you can take 3 things, think of your day. If I picked these 3 things that were done or that were given attention, would it be a success? And I'm not only talking about work. Sorry, you hear my dog in the background. But this is also going to be spending time with your kids. For me, I've noticed that if I work out or do something, even if it's a walk alone, that's going to be huge for my mindset, but also for myself. And with having 4 kids, for sure. And then the second one I've noticed is having individual time with my kids. And then obviously I want to do stuff in my business too, but I find that if I can get those on the calendar, like scheduled, just like I would my work, then that's going to help me so much better to not have mom guilt or anything like that. And then lastly, I want to end with this. I know I was trying not to make this a super long episode. I know you guys are time crunched and you're trying to multitask probably. But I wanted to share with you this amazing thing that has upped my productivity this week. So I was in a free challenge, which I talked to you guys a little bit about previously. And we call it the Enjoy Your Life More Challenge. You can find it over on Facebook. And we poured into our group, and it was just so helpful with helping people with clarity and vision and figuring out what they want and why they want it. And it was just so great. And on one part of it, we were talking about our limiting beliefs. And I have a limiting belief that I can't get anything done during the day and with a toddler. And so I blame her. And so I wonder like how many times we're blaming our kids or blaming, whatever it is that's keeping us from doing the thing. Whenever really we just need to get resourceful. We need to figure out what in the world we can do. Like, what can we control? And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh yeah, I have a 16-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. Like, and the 10-year-old loves some Fortnite. And so of course I'm like, well, there you go. So I've actually paid him $5 a day for 1 hour to give me that work hour. And then, so that's helped me a ton because I know that I am actually going to be diving into that work for that 1 hour each day. And that has been so helpful. It has upped more than 50% of my productivity in developing that set time. And then at the same time, they are getting that time with him, which I think is great. And then also I'll leave you with a couple more things, is that I want you guys to set boundaries. I've actually been removing social media on the weekends for the past 2 weekends. And I must say that I didn't really think I could do it. My thumb kept going to the Facebook and it was on autopilot, and it has helped me so much. If you found value in today's show or you learned something new, hop on over to iTunes and leave me a review. I really love hearing what you're thinking of the show, and it really does help to spread the word about what we're doing here. If you haven't already checked out our Facebook group, head on over to Multi-Passionate Mompreneur on Facebook, or you can find me on social media. I'm at angel.mcilhaney on Instagram. Until next time, wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.